discussion of the challenges facing courier companies. I'm joined by Dinesh Dixit. He's Vice President of Account Management with LogiNext. Hi, Dinesh.
Hi, Bob. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining me. Give me a quick brief description of what are the major challenges that are facing courier companies or parcel companies today.
Sure. The biggest challenges that they're facing is the capacity problems, because as the e-commerce boom has gone even more with the whole advent of the COVID pandemic, they are struggling to find the right kind of capacity in order to meet the demands. And that's where we see a lot of the carriers dropping a lot of the loads, even for some big retailers, primarily because they don't see the cost benefit in terms of satisfying all of those. And that has led to the advent of a lot of smaller players and even the bigger players relying on a lot of these third-party OSPs or outside service providers in order to supplement the parcel delivery business.
Mm-hmm. Is it working for them? I mean, are they finding, you say it's a capacity crunch, are they finding that extra capacity by doing that, what you're talking about?
They can only go so much because there's only so many people that we can add, especially in a very hyper-competitive job market where not many people are ready to drive long hours or actually get into the parcel delivery business being outside. And that's just in general the whole Great Resignation and the whole concepts around people trying to find alternative sources of income, which has led to the whole driver shortage in the parcel industry, but in general in the trucking industry. So they have tried to do that by having more 1099 vendors, by giving them offers and trying to entice them to join this whole parcel delivery army that they're trying to create. But without technology, without additional sources of trying to find more efficiencies, that's always going to be lacking. And that's where we see a lot of our customers even trying to look at innovative solutions to see how they can supplement capacity crunch with actual other solutions.
Well, let's talk about some of those innovations that might be potential solutions to the situation you just sketched out for me. Some of the real, I don't know if they're pie in the sky because they're certainly here to some degree.
Right.
Driverless vehicles, drones, these things that are not quite ready for prime time but are here. What is the progress of those innovations in making a difference to this industry?
Sure. So a lot of the companies are doing controlled pilots in terms of driverless vehicles or drones. In my opinion, again, it's at least 5 to 10 years out before a commercial implementation that we will see, primarily because regulations will take a little bit of time to catch up to those. We've already seen those kind of news articles around accidents and issues that driverless cars face in general, even in a small commercial vehicle. Now, when you multiply that with big trucks and trailers, the problem is something that definitely requires not just a technology angle, but also a regulatory angle to ensure that it can meet the needs of the market. Mm-hmm. So I see those definitely happening, but maybe not in the near future. And that's where in the near future, courier companies will have to look at innovative solutions to make sure that they can meet the demands.
Not to mention the practicality of drones, which can certainly work in certain limited circumstances, but certainly not everywhere, depending on whether it's in a city or a suburb or rural. I mean, drones aren't the answer to everything, are they?
They aren't, primarily because they can only carry so much volume. So if there is very high value goods that require immediate transportation. So I know one of the customers, they're working on this pilot for healthcare segment where they need to transfer very important and fast deliveries for like healthcare products from one hospital to the other. So in those kind of circumstances, I definitely see a value proposition and an ROI. But in a commercial landscape, I think that it's going to still be lacking. And the first implementations that we will see is primarily in the rural areas where they have to cover massive distances, where you don't want to send a truck just for 1 or 2 deliveries. And even on the trucking side, I think the ideal implementation would be for the long haul trucks and trailers because they're more often than not just going in a straight path, and it's an easier problem to solve as opposed to the densely routing needs of a city kind of a landscape.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, there's this entity called the customer. I'm wondering to what degree, in the face of all these issues that you're just raised with me in this discussion, is it possible to focus on the customer experience? And if so, how? Where does that fall into this whole picture?
So in the parcel business especially, customer experience has always been an afterthought. So if you think maybe a couple of years ago, there would just be a notification that your parcel is on the way, and then you can see the in-scans and out-scans that happen at every warehouse. But once it's out for delivery, it just goes into an ether of sorts, and you're just basically just waiting for the package to show up anytime during the day. What we are seeing now is that courier companies are focusing on more specific alerts in terms of how many stops away a particular driver is. And a lot of it is also because of competition from more technology focused companies like Amazon Prime. When they are starting to do these kind of innovations, that's where the legacy providers of courier express parcel companies are sitting up and taking notice and investing in those kind of technologies, because a good customer experience helps to drive down a lot of costs, where you reduce the inbound calls into your call centers, you reduce the kind of returns management process that needs to happen, and also package misses, which your shippers are going to hold the carriers accountable for.
Right. It takes a lot of waste out of the system and helps the bottom
Exactly.
line of the companies, as well as keeping customer loyalty in the picture.
That is correct.
So bottom line, no instant solutions right around the corner, but certainly some promising developments in technology. We got the peak season coming up, so it's
Yep.
going to be even rougher for a while, but it looks like there may be a little bit of sunlight on the horizon for this troubled industry.
Exactly.
Thanks so much, Dinesh. I really appreciate your insights into the courier and parcel industry. Let me just take a moment to ask you about LogiNext these days. What are you guys up to?
Sure. So LogiNext is a transportation automation platform, and our motto is deliver smart, deliver fast. And that is something that we truly believe in because of AI, machine learning algorithms that we've built, which helps to make operations for parcel companies much smarter. And deliver fast comes from the fact that we have automation built into the entire platform. So whether it is exceptions management, whether it is attempted pickups, attempted deliveries kind of workflows, all of those are automated, helping courier companies get much more benefit out of the platform in a SaaS kind of a landscape. And we also have customers currently executing across entire countries like Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, India, and Chile, and even in the US. And that is exactly where we see one platform, or LogiNext, which can help solve all of the needs, whether it's in-building operations or on-ground operations, to give customers the unique experience, also add third-party vendors, outside service providers into the network, and also enable a customer experience with real-time tracking and visibility, which has been a path-breaking initiative in the CP industry for us.
Thanks so much, Dinesh, for talking about the state of the parcel and courier industry, as well as a little bit about LogiNext as well. Thank you very much.
Of course. Thank you very much, Bob.
I've been speaking with Dinesh Dixit of LogiNext. Thank you very much for watching.